Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? You was never able to see the message from FEMA. It's right there on my app. It's on the app. If you go to my app, it's right there. Okay. But you have to subscribe to the app. All right. You have to. That's the only way I can do it. Let me tell you something real quick, guys. Unbelievable information. Unbelievable information. Middle East, another country has signed a peace agreement with Israel. Are you serious? Bhutan. That's right. The small country over there in the Himalayan mountain area region has signed a covenant with Israel. Unbelievable. Jared Kushner still working on behalf of the Trump initiative, and Benjamin Netanyahu has signed a deal. I'll tell you all about this because this is historical, which your media is not even touching. I mean, it's a moot point. I heard that term before. That it's not important to them. Guys, seriously, it's time right now. Extraordinary high winds across the Midwest and the northeastern part of the United States led to massive power outages back in November. Over 800,000 residents actually in the region found themselves without power. And natural disasters like this is why I take as much time as I can necessary to prepare myself when these apocalyptic scenarios begin. The most important tool in your arsenal for really is a backup solar bank. That's right. The backup solar bank. It's portable. It's literally a backup energy that is downright essential in an emergency. It is the single most convenient way to change your phone or to have your phone charged, or even other electronic devices like radios and computers. It's virtually take it anywhere. As long as there's sunlight, there's hope. And it's basically a portable charger that fits in your pocket. But unlike typical power banks, it's entirely solar powered. What? At www.backupsolarbank.com. That's at www.backupsolarbank.com. Look at this thing. It's incredible. It's incredible. But it has the ability to charge from right off the sun. You can lay your phone there and charge it. You can plug in your computer and charge it. You can charge at transistor radio if you need it out there. Hiking, camping, fleeing from the apocalypse, whatever you need to do, this will help you. www.backupsolarbank.com. That's www.backupsolarbank.com. Well, here we go. Daniel 9:27, certainly in play. This is a prophecy alert. Nobody's even talking about this. I mean, I'm stunned that nobody is even discussing this out there, but I'll bring it to you because it's another major event. Of course, it doesn't benefit anybody politically. Trump's leaving office, Biden's coming in. They weren't in, Biden was involved in this. And Trump, of course, has been working on this for his whole 4 years. But this doesn't help anybody. Jared Kushner continues to just do his job on behalf of this. And by doing so, another nation. All right, so now you've got Morocco last week. You've already got United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Sudan, Morocco, throw in Serbia and Kosovo, and now add Bhutan. 7 nations have, in the last 3 months, have signed covenants with Israel. 7 nations in the last 3 months. Plus, you already had Egypt and Jordan. So now 9 nations have covenants with Israel. You throw in America, you certainly got 10, but we won't even do that. These 7 nations. Now that Bhutan has signed on, and oh, by the way, other nations like Brazil and others are moving their embassies to Jerusalem. So prophecy is in play. But what does this all mean? Well, at some point, the world's going to let Israel build this third temple that the Jewish people want to worship in and haven't had their temple to pray in over 2,000 years. But also after that's completed and it looks like there's peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh. The Bible tells us that the Antichrist and his sidekick, the false prophet, they will take over the world, and the Antichrist will walk into the third temple and declare before the worshipers of God. The Bible says in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, it says that the wicked one, the son of perdition, the lawless one, he will walk into the temple of God before the worshipers of God and declare that he is God. 7 nations, guys. This is huge information. 7. I'm still thinking about the late Dr. Irvin Baxter, how I wanted to spend more time with him to discuss these things. He told me, before he passed away, he said, Pastor Begley, when you start seeing 7 or more nations signing covenants with Israel, then understand that covenant of Israel process is in play. Now, when does that start the clock ticking? He said, I don't know exactly, because it's not going to be just a one deal where all of these nations sign on. It's a covenant with many, which means they're separate deals. And as you can see, now 7 have signed on. You already had Egypt. You already had Jordan. So as it builds, at some point, it starts the meter. I'm going to tell you the point I believe it is. When you see the dedication of the third temple, when you start seeing the walls, they lay the foundation, and you start seeing the walls going up, guys. And by the way, you already know armies are starting to compass Jerusalem. You know the desolation is nigh. And we've already conceded the very team players that are there. Gog and Magog team, they're there. Turkey, Syria, Iran, Russia, Libya, other radical groups in the area like Hezbollah and Hamas and Al-Qaeda and ISIS and Islamic Jihad. And all of them are gathering in. All of the kings of the East are being manipulated by the frogs, 3 unclean spirits that have come out of the river Euphrates and out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, out of the mouth of false prophet. They will begin to manipulate the kings of the East. We're already seeing the process beginning. Guys, are you serious? 7 nations have now signed, and tomorrow night is the solar eclipse of the sun over South America. A total solar eclipse of the sun, the only total solar eclipse of 2020. What a year it's been. It's tomorrow, which we all know here in America, tomorrow's a big day with the electorate, but also it's Hanukkah. So if you look at this from the Middle East standpoint, this darkness on the land, what does this all mean? Is this the sign? I remember being in that documentary that aired on AT&T back in 2017. It was called The Sign. I actually went back and watched part of it this morning to kind of get my memory, remind myself what all that was about. It was about the total solar eclipse that was over the earth on Heidi and I's anniversary. It was August 21st, 2017. We were in Idaho. I was preaching in a conference in Boise, Idaho, and then we went out to the location where we could be in the direct path of this. It was called the Great American Solar Eclipse. And we watched it at high noon as it went over top our heads in Idaho. It was the most phenomenal 2 minutes I've ever experienced in my life, a sign in the heavens. I was in the documentary. It was called, the name of the documentary was called The Sign. I'm in the very first minute or two at the actual event that took place. I'm pointing at the sky and telling people this is a sign of God. It really is when you study the Bible. But then the rest of the documentary, you hear guys like Pastor Mark Biltz, Michael Rood. Some of you know who he is. Gil Brazard is in that one. Scotty Clark's in that one. Mark Biltz, I said his name. David Mead is in that one. The other guys, they put in some really good people in there, plus some rabbis and some. So if you've never seen that, it's on YouTube. Matter of fact, let me just see. It's on YouTube somewhere. But anyway, you can check it out. It's called The Sign. It was a documentary that aired in September of 2017, just after the solar eclipse took place. Now, I want to say to everybody out there, guys, these prophecies are happening so fast. People are not ready. We are watching apocalyptic events around the globe while peace deal covenants are being signed with Israel, and a changeover in a globalization, a mentality, a transit world now. Things are going to start to accelerate on a biblical scale, even faster than what they've been going. And a lot of people are not ready to meet the Lord. They're not ready. So keep your eyes open. Jesus is coming back. He said, look up, lift up your head, for your redemption is drawing nigh. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. We're truly living in the last days. God bless this amazing online church. God bless all of you. Those of you who are giving your tithe and offerings today, please do that today. We'll be blessing you with a great prayer and blessing over the tithe and offering that you give today in our Sunday night live broadcast. Starts at 7 p.m. 7 nations have now signed a covenant with Israel. So I'll see you guys tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. Are you serious? Are you serious? Last Thursday night with Mike from around the world, 88 people got saved. Now, 39,000 people have seen that broadcast. Unfortunately, that broadcast is being partially blocked with some shadow banning, or because 39,000, not that many people to watch a program like that. It's one of the best ones we ever did. It's too bad, but you can find it. If you look up Galactic Federation, if you go to the bar, if you go to your search bar on YouTube, type in Galactic Federation, and then Mike from the World, Paul Begley, and then you'll find that video. It should have been easily found for people, but in certain parts of the country and in the world, it's being shadow banned. Interesting. We're in the last days. Are you saved? Give your life to Jesus Christ. He's coming soon. Are you serious? Are you serious?